Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update on Ukraine, and here we have the eastern part and the tactical map was just released, so let's review it. The main idea of the Russian Federation is to get closer and take over the Kramatorsk and Slaviansk, which are the main residential areas still under control by Ukrainian forces, but they are quite far away from Bakhmut and from the front line itself. And that is why Russia have to take Bakhmut on their way to get Kramatorsk and Slaviansk, because it's also a populated city, at least it used to be. Now most of the civilians were evacuated from the area, by the way, from Kramatorsk and from Slaviansk as well. However, the problem for Russia is that Ukraine was able to build a huge defense line in the city and across the front line, so that is why Russians are trying to bypass the area and encircle Bakhmut from north and south. Also, they have the main vector attack just towards the city. Their secondary target is to take control over Bilohorivka on the north near to Lysychansk and here all over this area to ensure that Ukrainian army wouldn't dare to attack Lysychansk. Now the front line is very close to the city and Russian bases may be under artillery fire of Ukrainian army. As for Ukrainian army, they need to protect Kramatorsk and Slaviansk, obviously, and also protect Bakhmut. It's quite hard since Russia is throwing their forces to take the city. They don't care about their losses and continue to throw them as a cannon fodder over there. And as for Lysychansk, the main goal for the Ukrainian army is to take this city under control, cross the river and take Severodonetsk. I think for now it's quite unreal since Russia has control over the nearby towns and villages, and the front line moved a little bit forward, so it's very uncomfortable for Ukrainian army to counterattack in that area. And before we go closer to the Bakhmut city, let me introduce the sponsor of today's video. Obviously, it is the Atlas VPN. My friends, Atlas VPN have just introduced an awesome Christmas deal. You may get the Atlas VPN Premium for just $1.70 per month if you sign up for the 3 years deal, and that will bring you to 85% of discount, and also will have 6 months for free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And just recently then I was sitting in a local cafe using the public Wi-Fi. I got the warning from Atlas VPN that someone tries to reach my YouTube channel and Google account. That is why I changed the password and immediately disconnected from that network. That security monitoring is not available for many VPNs, and luckily Atlas VPN got it. You may hear that English is not my native language, so I constantly studied. How I study? I just basically watch the Netflix series, and some of them are not available in my country. That is why I switch on the Atlas VPN to watch my favorite series. With Atlas VPN, you simply don't have any limits or any kind of restrictions. Atlas VPN may help you to avoid the price discrimination, so by changing your virtual location, you may purchase, for example, airline tickets with a great discount. Atlas VPN is blocking unknown ads, it restricts the government access to your accounts, and also you are unreachable for hackers. Awesome. My friends, I highly recommend you to grab the unique opportunity to have the Atlas VPN Premium for just $170 per month with a 6 months for free with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and there you'll have 85% of discount. This proposition is time limited, so hurry up to join the club. I really enjoy to have the partnership with the Atlas VPN. They not only support my channel, but they also support Ukrainian people. So Atlas VPN, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. And now let's take a closer look on Bakhmut city. So here they have the main vector directly towards the city. They continue to push it very hard. Prigozhin wants to show Putin that they are the only source that may bring a victory to Russia, and they want more investments to the Wagner group. At least for now, we see that Prigozhin has lots of the ambitions, not excluding the presidency. And recently it's been reported that they have some sort of the success on this crossroad over here, and actually they took some of the territory. So I would say that the front line moved a little bit to the north like that. It is the great threat of the Bakhmut to be encircled. So they tried to push to Bakhmutsk. So far no success over there. So they decided to encircle the city from this part. It's kind of tricky for us, but we continue to defend the city. From the south they move forward. Probably they want to move very forward over here and then move northbound to take Bakhmut. But we have defense line, and for them to take the city from this side, it's quite unreal, and we don't have the defense lines from this territory. But I won't say that Russia may reach that far behind the front lines. More closer look at the city, and here Russia pushed over here. They already crossed this crossroad, they took it under control. The problem is if they move from this direction, you can see that the Ukrainian defense line is over here but not over here, and here we have the urban environment, and here we have just a river, so it's hard for Ukrainian army to withstand the Russian attack from the north side. So the worst case scenario for Ukraine is that Russia would use this river to advance across it and could divide their army into two groups and take this part of the city and this part as well. But I think it will not happen. At least they will not cross the river with the defense that we have in the city. So I think they may go to this part of the city. According to this tactical map, you see that Russian forces haven't crossed the lake over here, but according to the deep state map, they already crossed our defense line, penetrated it, and took a couple of the quarters of the city itself. So I hope that they are still behind the Ukrainian defense line and were not able to penetrate it and went to the city. Right, let's go to this northeast part, to Luhansk and Kharkiv area. Here we are in Svatova. I expected this hub city to be taken back by Ukrainian forces around 3 months ago, but I was wrong, my friends. So Russia continued their attacks. They were able to build the defense lines, and actually we lost timing, I think, over here, because our command was concentrated on moving our artillery closer to the front lines, because we advanced here in this area before, then we took control over the most part of the Kharkiv area, and it was a very fast movement of Ukrainian forces. So our military command decided to secure the current achievements and put reinforcements, put artillery systems, and that requires the counterattack to stop. So it was freezed around 4 months ago. Unfortunately, we see that Russia used it and now tries to get control over the neighboring villages across the front lines unsuccessfully. Near to Donetsk, Russia continued their attacks towards Marinka and Novomikhailivka, and here in the north. And also it's been reported that Donetsk got some of the fire into the residential buildings. Ukrainian side says that it's Russia itself destroying the city, and also they used the artillery systems in the residential parts of the city. So maybe Ukraine fired back towards those artillery systems. The population of Donetsk city decreased dramatically. Men were taken to fight on the front lines for Russia. Women just fled this territory because it's unsafe. But Russian propaganda says that everything is okay in the city. It's just Ukraine that fires the artillery shells towards the city, killing civilians. And this is Zaporizhia area, the Zaporizhia city itself. And let's go a little bit to the south. Here is the front line, and here is the possible way how Ukraine would take the territories back. So you can see Vasilivka, a town over here, Tokmak city, and Ukraine may start the counterattack from this part and also from this direction on Tokmak. Russia knows that intention from Ukrainian army. That is why they start to use artillery more frequently in the area, causing losses for Ukrainian army, but those are not very dramatic, and I do expect the counterattack to start next month. And here's one more map of the Bakhmut city, and it shows that Russians are still in the city suburbs, and the pink one, you can see that Russia presence. So they have some of the presence very close to the city, but are not in a city itself. I mean, not in a residential area. Russia started to send the kamikaze Shahed drones from the Russian territory and not from Crimea because they are afraid of the possible Ukrainian attacks on those drones or bases of those drones. Just to remind you, they lost many of them on the ground, including Iranian instructors. And yes, Russians still have to take Iranian instructors, pilots and technicians with them because the Shahed drones is very sophisticated weapons for the Russian army. According to the Wall Street Journal article, Putin ordered Kadyrov to kill Zelensky during the February attack on Kiev. And I think that this information is correct since Kadyrovites were already in a city and mostly they were destroyed on their way, but some of them actually entered through the main road that connects the western side of Ukraine with Kiev, and they haven't even reached the city center. They were destroyed on the way with the help of our territorial defense. And Kadyrov's main general, Magomed Tushayev, lost his life in the try to reach the center part of the Kiev to kill Zelensky. So the assault was really poor planned from the Russian side. They didn't expect that we will resist that hard in Kiev and many areas across the front lines. And one more evidence of the lack of the competence from the Russian generals and poor planning comes from the New York Times article. They showed the detailed plan of the Russian forces movement to reach Kiev. The soldiers had the order to reach Kiev in 18 hours. The first divisions that were on the way were Russian special forces as Omon and Sober that had no any experience fighting on the front lines. They have experience in beating their own citizens. It's internal militia special forces, so they were sent just ahead towards Kiev, and all the columns of those Omons and Sobers were totally demolished. It seems like Russian generals live in parallel reality. They expected Ukrainians and Ukrainian army to basically greet Russians in Kiev or something. So that's the main reason actually for the Russia to lose this war. Lack of competence of their own generals, and those generals, the generals of Russia that did those mistakes, they haven't been punished. Even Ukrainian generals were punished. As I told you, Zaluzhny dismissed 10 of the generals, and the Ukrainian general who was responsible for the south part of the front lines and who messed up his job, and Russia in the beginning of the war took the vast territories on the south, so somehow this general put the bullet in his head. One more interesting information from the New York Times: United States tried to prevent Ukraine from killing Russian Chief of Staff Gerasimov during his attendance of Donbass. So he went there, I think during the summertime, but Ukraine said it's too late. They started the mission to eliminate this guy. Unfortunately, this didn't work out for Ukraine. Gerasimov is alive now, but his deputies and some of the soldiers who were protecting the area, those were killed. And United States wanted to prevent Ukraine from doing this execution because they did afraid of the war between Russia and Ukraine. It was in the beginning. I think now they changed their mind. And today it was the meeting of Putler and his generals, top generals like Surovikin. Look at this face, very unhappy, something wrong there. And Gerasimov himself, we were talking about him, and Shoigu, all of them look quite disappointed. CIA directors said that there are no any signs that Russia is really getting prepared to use nukes against any kind of the country, and he said that the main reason for Putin, his circle, his military and propaganda media telling about the nukes is to intimidate the world. It's their main goal. Really, they do afraid of using nukes. And there is something wrong again in Russia. This is Vladivostok, far east part of the Russian Federation, and this is the warehouse. We don't know what is there, but it's on fire. Our military intelligence representative said that Russia, for now, for this day, is not ready to attack Ukraine with a massive attack as it was in February this year. But we're gonna see in 1 or 2 months whether there's gonna be the change in the Russian forces on the north side from Ukraine, and also they may attack not just Kiev but many parts. Still, they may try to do one more massive advancement, but it will be the last one for the Russia itself. Russia got one more Iranian drone delivery, so what they do, they receive parts of the drones, assemble them in Russia, and call this drone Geran and say that they produced them in Russia. But basically, those are Iranian-made drones. The last delivery from Iran is smaller compared to what they had before, like 2 months ago, but still they have some of them, and they will use them to attack Ukrainian civilian infrastructure in the future. We got the unconfirmed information that Russian forces are leaving Kakhovka and Nova Kakhovka on the other part of the Dnieper River in Kherson region, so they're leaving to Nizhny Surogosy, to this part. Why they do so? Because they are under artillery fire, and probably to reduce the casualties they move further away. New York Times saying again that Putin is ready to lose around 300,000 soldiers in this war. For now, officially, they lost around 100,000 soldiers, but that excluding Wagner soldiers, Rosguard and volunteers. And that means that Putin will not stop at least next year and will try to get as many territories as possible from Ukraine. It's bad sign for obviously civilian population, for our soldiers, but we don't have other choice rather than to fight for our land. This is crazy new year in Russia. You can see the armor vehicle and Ded Moroz. So it's not Santa, even though Santa and Ded Moroz is coming out of the Saint Nicholas. Yes, we have that religious guy, and in Ukraine we still have Saint Nicholas. I think in Western countries you do have the same, probably, but in Russia they have this old man Frost, or I call him Uncle Frost. It's like alcoholic name, nickname or something, so they put him to the BTR, and with the Russian flag they drive him somewhere, right? So it's the army advertisement more than New Year's celebration. Japan starts the biggest investment program to their army since the World War II, and they will have the third world biggest army budget after United States and China. I think that democracy should carry that power, and we should put the end to autocracy, to dictatorship, as in Russia, China, North Korea. That is why you have to carry lots of the weaponry to withstand the aggressions from those dictators. And those are the great news for United States as well, because Japan is the close United States ally in Pacific region. And again, from New York Times, Putin recognized that Ukrainians are harder than he thought. He talked about it during the meeting with Israeli Prime Minister after the war. So he recognized that the war is not going according to the plan. And just one brief look on Bakhmut using the deep state resource, deep state map. So Russians moved here on the north. If we compare it to yesterday, it was like that. So today it's like that. And according to the map, you can see, so before it was reported that Russians already entered the residential area, but now we have the confirmation that they haven't penetrated Ukrainian defense line, and it's great, my friends. But from the north they took this crossroad over here, and it's the great risk of the Bakhmut to be encircled from the north side. It's not a good thing. But anyways, my friends, I'm gonna keep you updated on situation in Ukraine. And don't forget to check out the link, my personal link for the Atlas VPN, where you can get the Atlas VPN Premium with a huge Christmas discount. My friends, it's the best VPN out there, so check out the link and click on it. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.